Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back with part 2 of my dreams indeed for AS Roma. Hope you enjoy it, and I hope I don't waffle too much as I often do, but as ever, I'd love to read your comments, like constructive criticism, positive feedback, encouragement or whatnot. But yeah, I hope some people out there enjoy it. Sometimes I do worry that people might not enjoy my unique sort of thinking, but anyway, here goes. So obviously this is part 2, continuing on from part 1. Please check that out if you can. For those who might have stumbled across this, I normally do these 4-part videos where I break them up into 4 parts, so hopefully they're not too long. So here goes. So number 11, I hope that fans of Roma themselves, Romanistas around the world, and especially and also fans of Serie A generally, and Celtic as well, or football fans in particular, will check out these videos like this. If I ever get to monetize it, to be honest, I would donate as much money as I can, as long as I don't need to live on it. Perhaps if I get enough to live on, then the rest I would donate to, in this case, like Roma, because the video's about Roma. So I'd love to do that with my videos, like some are about different topics, and like if they're about empowering people in developing countries, I would love to donate to those sorts of things. Celtic videos, I would love to donate to Celtic and things like that. But yeah, I'd love for football fans generally to check these videos out. Maybe even rival fans, perhaps. I hope that didn't put them off, but I'm a bit silly sometimes giving too much away. But yeah, maybe even haters or whatever, if you do want to check these videos out, leave comments. Hopefully it won't be too harsh. But anywho, yeah, so if you do share this video with football fans, especially fans of Italian football and Serie A and Roma especially, and Celtic as well, because I hope to have a partnership between Italian teams and Celtic. Number 12, as I said in part 1, I would love to, continuing on from that theme, one of my main dreams, I suppose what these videos are mainly about, are fundraising, or is about fundraising for, fundraising, I suppose, or whatever, for whichever way you want to put it, for the club to get as much money as possible so they can buy the best possible players in each position, like 2 or 3 best goalkeepers, centre backs, wing backs, centre mids, wingers, and strikers, and that kind of thing. In terms of football generally in Italy, I would love to see managers like Pep Guardiola, more attacking managers, so that they could bring that attacking style of play to Italian football and change some of the culture. Also, those who develop younger players, and as I said in part 1 again, as well as buying the best overseas players, I hope they'll give opportunities for younger players as well, at least to be on the bench sometimes, perhaps, so that they can have opportunities, at least in like pre-season friendlies or whatever. They could be given opportunities as well to be given game time, so that they can develop their game as well for the future, and hopefully Italy, including Roma, can produce the next Zizou, next Zidane, next Messi, Ronaldo, both Brazilian and Portuguese, the next Pele maybe, and the next Maradona, the next George Best, and whatever best players, and also in different positions, the next best goalkeepers or whatnot, as well, that kind of thing. So and defenders and midfield. I know Italy normally produces good defenders anyway, but and also like teams as well, team structure, not just individual players. So I hope they'll develop the team and the squad. Number 13, I dream for like the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and Vatican and Catholic groups as well, as well as others, to invest in the club. I suppose I'm sort of, if the conspiracy theories are true about, or the rumours are true about the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, they have like so much money, like maybe even trillions or whatever. But even if that's not true, as banking dynasties, they do have a lot of money. And there's the Rothschild investment fund. I dream for the Rothschild investment fund to invest in, and the Rothschild group generally to invest in them, or even the family and the Rockefellers and others, Vatican and Catholic groups. Like I have my patterns, and I say, as I said on Facebook, I say like Rothschild investment fund for AS Roma, Rockefellers to invest in Roma. Like the second in a sentence, it would be a number that reminds me of 2, and 4 would be 4th, and so on and so forth. So I hope that made sense. As ever, I welcome any of your questions as well. Number 14, I also dream for like Arabian as well as African and Asian, or even worldwide investors, as many investors as possible, to invest in the club, possibly through different names. I know there's rules in football. I hope they do it legally and ethically, but there are rules in football. I know that, like financial fair play, or even rules where you're not allowed to own more than one team in the same league or the same competition. But I dream they'll find loopholes or ways around that, maybe work with FIFA and UEFA to find a way around that through different investment names or whatever, so that the club can get as much investment as possible, and again invest in, again, all legally and ethically with FIFA, and working with FIFA and UEFA perhaps even, and working with their charity and NGOs, the charity and NGO and that kind of thing, or in the plural, charities and NGOs, to look at ways they could legally do so within the rules of the game and within general rules, and that kind of thing, or at least within the laws. And so find ways around, like loopholes around things, and find ways to solve those problems, and again legally find ways to do so. Like in return for doing football for good, maybe they could be able to do stuff like that. Number 15, again, as I said in part 1, I would love to read and hear from and listen to Romanistas around the world about what you would love to see the club do, and things like how much of your own personal money would you be prepared to invest in or even donate to the club if it meant buying even better players. As I often say, like, instead of being ultras or hooligans or anything like that, I think I would encourage those who are like hooligans or whatever, who really do support the club and want to see the club do well, to not do hooliganism and all that, which could get the club into trouble, and also to be positive role models. Again, I am repeating a lot of these ideas from Facebook, so please forgive me those who might check those videos out. But these ideas are quite important to me. But although I do want to do it just for fun as well, but so older people could be like good role models for children. So like not being involved in crimes or smoking or drinking or taking drugs or things like that. Trying to eat healthy, even if they're not able to be footballers themselves, they could pass on whatever skills or knowledge they know, and like practice with younger people, and like encourage younger people to go to parks and places, maybe even play on the street, and like be encouraged to play as football as much as possible, and like as a community where they're kept in a safe environment. I suppose academies would help with that as well, and like places where they can improve their diets and stuff like that. But hopefully learning from older players, even if those old players are not that great for their age level, they could still probably teach younger people stuff. So I'd love to hear what people think about each of these ideas, what questions you have as well. Number 16, on that note, I'd love for there to be a committee, think tank, brainstorm, network, cooperative, or whatever you want to call it, which looks at Roma, especially like a cooperative perhaps, I think that would be the best way of putting it, which looks at what's best for Roma, what's in its interest, again, within the law, what can they legally do to attract as much investment as possible, and develop good footballers from a youth level, but also by have a combination of buying more older and experienced players, but also developing youth and giving them opportunities, game time. So that's, I think, the challenge of game management. If they do have the best squad in the world, how do they fit young players into it? But I hope they'll learn from those younger players. Hopefully, will learn from those older players. So hopefully, the academies around the world, including especially in Italy itself, and in particular in Rome itself, will develop. But academies, as I say, around the world, and especially those who qualify to play for Italy, which will hopefully benefit the national team, but also just generally what would benefit Roma and what would help it to become as successful as possible. Again, I'd love to see Roma win as many trophies as possible. Number 17. On that note, as I often say, number 17, I often think of imagine-ifs or imaginations or whatnot. So, especially imagine-ifs. So, I would love to see Roma winning, like, say, sometimes like 8 out of 10 Champions Leagues in a decade or whatever, and maybe even 10 if I'm really dreaming, and to achieve so many things beyond my wildest dreams perhaps, and other fans' wildest dreams. Like, I'd love to see Roma win as many Champions Leagues, World Club Cups, Super Cups, and that kind of thing as possible. Hopefully I'd love to see that be the level that Roma plays at as soon as possible, and to continue to develop at that level, and win as many trophies, especially like Champions Leagues, World Club Cups, UEFA Super Cups, and things like that as possible. And maybe focus even more on those than domestic trophies. So even if they come second in the league and get into the Champions League and win that, and the World Club Cup, I would be happy with that. If they won things like that, I'd be really happy for the club to win things like that, for myself and for the club, to be honest, and for Italian football generally. I'd love for the world to last long enough for Italian teams to win the most trophies as well between them as well, and become the most successful league as well as the most successful. So Italy to be the most successful club and country in football. So for club and country, so the most successful nation, most successful national team, and the most successful clubs in terms of trophies won over time as soon as possible, and I think through developing youth that could help that longevity, how would you pronounce it, and I'd say I'd love to see the club win, as I say, and Roma to win the most Champions Leagues and World Club Cups somehow. And when it comes to Celtic, again, partnership with Celtic, I would love for Celtic to win the most Scottish trophies and become possibly the most successful club team in terms of domestic trophies because of the league Celtic is in the Scottish League. Although it would be hard to see them surpass Al Ahly in Egypt, which I think are the most successful club. I'd love to see Celtic win so many trophies like them. In a way, I'd love to see Celtic also win the Conference League, Europa League, even the Champions League, and even Super Cups, and even the World Club Cup one day. That would be great too. Although I suppose I'm contradicting myself a little bit, but yeah, I'd love to see that sort of stuff happen if the world could last for another 30 years or more, maybe 60 years or something like that. But I have my paranoias about the end of the world and stuff like that. But I'd love for the world to last long enough just for Italian teams, just so that Italian teams and Celtic can win as many trophies as possible, especially, say, Roma in Italian team's case. Number 18, again, I hope they'll be part of Football for Good and work with Celtic and its foundation. Italian teams will give away 10% of their money towards good causes, which will mean that the more money teams like Roma and Celtic and other Italian teams also get, the more they can do for good for charity. So even if people think it's unethical for so much money in football, there'll be a lot of good things they can do. The more money they get, the more they could help people in developing countries, including number 19, Indigenous Africans and Australians, especially in software development, as well as those from developing nations generally. And number 20, also in STEM generally. So I'd love for them to support Aboriginals, Torres and Strait Islanders, Maoris, and Africans in STEM, generally science, tech, engineering, and maths, as well as doing projects to help people in Asia, Latin America, Ireland, and other former colonies, which I think would be quite ironic, considering it was like the Roman Empire, and also to benefit, also, I'll say also the older people, to teach what they know to the youth in terms of improving their diet, avoiding mistakes they've made, perhaps, and things like maybe it could help for Romanistas, Roma fans who smoke or drink or take drugs or involved in crime or violence. Maybe it could help to give them another purpose. So instead of doing that sort of thing, they could help to coach and get involved in Roma. Maybe it could be involved in the community, encourage more people to get into coaching and to help them to be empowered in that way, so it can stop people from smoking, drinking, taking drugs, having bad diets. A bit hypocritical of me because I do have quite a bad diet, generally speaking, but and also, improving their diets, getting them out of crime, getting them out of violence and stuff like that through football. So again, they can do a lot of football for good, both in Rome and across Italy and around the world. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I am out. Peace and love.